I'm going to teach you how to solve a proportion. So first, to solve a proportion, you have to know what a proportion is. A proportion is an equation that states two ratios are equivalent. So, for example, A over B equals C over D. The denominators inside of this proportion cannot equal 0. And now that you know what a proportion is, I'm going to show you how to solve it. The first method you could use when solving proportions is the cross product method, or when you multiply in an x. These two examples can be solved using the cross product method. Let's start with the one over here. So 4 over 1 equals z over 16. So first we'd multiply across. So we'd circle 4 and 16, and z and 1. So you see how it forms an x? So you do multiply. And so if you wanted to write it out, it would be 1z equals 4 times 16. So 4 times 16 would be 64. So 1z equals 64. But you have to cancel out the 1, so you divide it by itself. And you do the same to the other side. So 64 divided by 1. So z equals 64. Let's try the other example using the cross product method. So, as you know, we would circle so it forms a cross. This one is pretty easy. So, you do 2x equals 4 times 3. 4 times 3 is obviously 12, and 2x equals 12. So, you divide it by itself, divide by 2, so x equals 6. The second method for solving proportions is equivalent fractions, or basically simplifying. These two problems can be solved using the equivalent fraction method. So, you'd start out by looking at 3 and 15. So, you can multiply 3 by 5 to get 15. So, 3 times 5. And then, if you look at the bottom, you know that it would be the same, so what times 5 is 35? So 7. So that means y equals 7. And then you do the same over here. So you do times 2, because 9 times 2 is 18, and what times 2 is 10 is 5. So k equals 5. The final method you can use to solve a proportion is using the reciprocal, or flipping the fraction around so the denominator is where the numerator is. Okay, so let's try to solve with the reciprocal method. So first, we flip around this fraction, so 5 is on the top, so you just have 5. And then you multiply by the reciprocal. So over here, you would multiply 80 by 5, which is 400. So you'd have 400 over 100. So d equals, so you can divide 400 by 100, or simplify it, into about 4. So 4 over 1, because you can cancel these out. So d equals 4. If you want to check this, you can always just, let me just erase this. You can always replace d with 4, because that's what you thought it was, or I thought it was, but whatever. And then, so you have 4/5 equals 80 over 100. So you can always use your other method to check it. So if you do the math, both of these are equal. So this is correct. And then you can try again with this one over here. Let's try to solve the other problem using the reciprocal method. So this, of course, would be 20. And so you'd multiply on this side. 8 times 20 is, let's see, 20 times 8 is 160. So 160 over 5 equals x, or x equals 160 over 5. It matters how you like to write it. So once you divide or simplify 160 and 5. And so that ends up being 30. So now, again, if you want to check it, you just have to go over here and erase x and replace it with your answer. So my answer was 30. I'm just going to put it over here, 30. And so if you cross multiply, or well, it's cross product, but whatever, you get 8 times 20 is 160 is equal to 160. And so that answer is correct. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I hope you learned some stuff about proportions. Bye.